Thank you. I am Professor Rick Cooper, representing Birkbeck, University of London, and the Department of Psychological Sciences here, where we run several master's programs. Sorry, I'm having trouble moving my slides forward. I just want to tell you a little bit about Birkbeck's history and mission, because we're quite an unusual institution, before talking about the specific studies, the Department of Psychology here, and then the specific programs that we run that may be of interest. The institution, Birkbeck, has been going now for 199 years, started in 1823. It was initiated by George Birkbeck, who argued that it was important to educate, at that time, the working classes, who in many cases were illiterate and were prevented from moving into different jobs by their lack of education. And Birkbeck has retained that mission over the last 200 years. So we are still focused primarily on evening class teaching, not just for at different levels for undergraduates and postgraduates. We do also do some daytime teaching, but we're aimed at trying to offer opportunities to students who are non-traditional, who may not have come through the usual routes to education, and to make sure that those students have the opportunity to excel. So we are a medium-sized psychology department. In the UK, we have 30 to 35 members of staff. There are certainly larger and smaller departments within the UK. We're based in central London, in the Bloomsbury area, one of many psychology or neurology institutions in this area. Although we're independent of those other institutions, this gives us some advantages, because we have, for example, lots of people passing through central London, giving talks and seminars. We have some shared facilities, and so on. So it's kind of a very interesting place to study. Within the department, we also have a lot of specialist facilities for behavioral research, for qualitative research, eye tracking, electroencephalogram. We have access to 2 MRI scanners. We have virtual reality, and so on. So we have access to a lot of equipment for a lot of specialist research, and this is also available to many of our students in their research project. We like to pride ourselves on our research and using that research in our teaching. So we have research-led teaching. And as a sort of way of illustrating this, UK universities are subject to a periodic review of their research by UK funding agencies. And since 2008, our department has been ranked in the top 10 psychology departments in the UK for research quality. That's out of about 90 to 100 psychology departments. So we're sort of near the top in terms of our research. And that's quite unusual for the size of the department. Most of the other research-intensive departments are somewhat larger. But all of our academic staff, almost all of our academic staff, are research active. And research informs our teaching at all levels. So especially on our master's programs, for example, we ensure that our teaching is sort of up to date and contemporary by having the staff who teach on it are ones who actually are doing contemporary research in those areas. So moving on to our MSc in Psychology, this is a course which can be done 1 year full-time or 2 years part-time. It's really designed for people who have a background at undergraduate level in some other area. So maybe you have a first degree in physics or chemistry or in the arts or the maths or something like this, or computer science, and you wish to transfer into psychology. So as I say, 1 year full-time, 2 years part-time. You can enter the degree either in October. We're just about to launch a January start as well, so people would be able to start in January. And teaching, most of the teaching is in the evening, but we're also about to introduce afternoon teaching as well. The traditional program would have been 1 year full-time with 4 evenings a week, but that's now being modified a little bit for the part-time programs, for the afternoon teaching and the January starts. So the important thing, I think, about the degree, about the master's program, is that it is accredited by the British Psychological Society, which is our sort of local accreditation body. And basically that body oversees all psychological practice within the UK and a lot of sort of psychology careers. So students who complete this program will often go on either to research degrees in psychology or using psychology somehow in their vocation. They may even go on to yet another master's degree that sort of specializes in some area of psychology, such as developmental psychology or clinical psychology or so on. The program itself consists of 8 taught modules plus a supervised research dissertation. So the modules, as I think I said, cover all of the basic breadth of psychology as a sort of an academic discipline. Psychology is very broad. We have 2 modules on statistics for psychology and principles of experimental psychology, covering the methodological aspects. We then have content modules on neuroscience, perception and awareness, developmental psychology, learning, memory and cognition, social psychology, and the psychology of individual differences. So as I say, each of these covers the sort of key areas of psychology as a discipline. And psychology is a very, very broad discipline, I think. The supervised research dissertation is another very big chunk of the degree. And in here, students apply principles and knowledge that they've acquired through the taught modules to a project of their choice. So they choose from a list of general areas, or they may come with a specific area that they're interested in, and are able to carry out novel supervised research in that area, supervised by a research active member of staff. It's critical, of course, that those projects are, that we have the academic staff who are capable to supervise those projects. So it's not that you're able to come and do any project of your own desire. We need to make sure that it's something that fits with what's available, what's the expertise that we have. And we also need to ensure that it adheres to things like the ethics requirements and so on. So that, though, is the sort of final large chunk of work of the MSc Psychology. Just while I have your attention, we do have a number of other MSc programs within the psychology department, which are focused on more specific areas. And these include a more general sort of psychological research methods masters, masters in cognitive neuroscience and neuropsychology, educational neuroscience, health and clinical psychological sciences, cognition and computation, and brain and cognitive development. So these programs aren't accredited by any external body, but they provide you with the sort of in-depth knowledge that you might want to sort of have further careers in these particular areas, or research careers, in fact. And many students on these programs do go on to do PhDs. Just a little bit about the teaching in general. We try to support flexible attendance. We are now recording all lectures and live streaming many of them. We do require attendance at our research methods modules because that's where you learn practical skills. We were recently re-accredited by the British Psychological Society, and we are commended for the use of research in our teaching and also for widening participation. Assessment is through essays, lab reports, and some timed exams. So it's a mix of these things, and also actually through presentations. So there's a range of assessments. Hopefully that sort of captures all abilities. And that really is our programs in a nutshell. So thank you very much for listening.